probably for them to do.
Yes, and they have like 10 interns working on it.
Last year we tried to bring back Countdown.
Oh, yeah.
And I tried making like game day style graphics where like it would animate their pick.
Oh, that's it.
One of those took me like an hour and a half.
Yeah, that makes sense. I forgot about Texas Countdown. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, it's crazy how long graphics can take if you don't have like templates and stuff like that.
Yeah.
The amount of Justin Morris made this one graphic for College Crossfire, and the amount of times I would just piggyback off all the work he did making that graphic. I use that in everything.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It was
even we made like me and Matt, and you helped with the thing that never aired on LHN ESPN.
Oh yeah.
For
cut off Charlie Pointer.
yeah, I used that like 3 times in that, and everyone at LHN was like, "That's a really good graphic. Like you did such a good job on that." And I was like, "Thank you."
and then they never showed it.
Never aired it. It's part of my hatred for LHN. If you're watching,
Can you hear?
Oh, huh? No, I can't hear. I'm sorry.
Do we need to each grab the mic as we?
I think low key.
Oh, really? Just panel discussion this?
Here, let's see if this is better here. Can you mic test it?
Can I mic test this? I don't know. Hello and welcome to College Crossfire. I'm your host, Tommy Yarrish. Today, Chicago sucks. The Bulls, the bad. Italian beef, more like Italian don't.
You don't like Italian beef?
I love Italian beef. I'm just hating on Chicago.
It's the best city in the world.
Chicago pizza looks like a trash can of sauce.
Yeah, do y'all know how to do that? Honestly, what we can do is 3. It's not? It was, now it's not.
Have you tried hitting it really hard? That did work for me once. I slapped that screen and it turned on.
Which screen? The bottom one or the top one?
Huh? The bottom. It's like the cord, the yellow cord on it. It like
But the annoying thing is like
comes out sometimes.
the amount of times that works.
Of course, it could be a completely different issue.
Maybe you are getting
Did you check the screen mirroring, CC?
The what?
The screen mirroring on the Mac. Maybe it's just that. You can press.
You got any stand up y'all want to do? beforehand?
What's the deal with airplane?
What we did 24/7 for TSTV. I think just like rolled out chairs and
Okay.
probably like had a few beers before or something.
That's
I think I could say that the statute of limitations is up on
Yeah.
anything I did in
Hey,
TSTV.
the senior show last year, y'all went to Kate Naples before.
Well, everyone did except me
Okay.
because I
Oh, that's right.
had a paper due the next day.
We chose not to air that senior show live. We
That's right. Yeah, there was some drinks had.
Yeah.
I went to Fuzzy's before a couple shows.
Wait, are we doing it?
That's
We
what
can't
was
do it
like
this year, right? When is
right
it?
across from here.
Is it next
like
week?
when you
Oh, sweet.
walked out,
I
like
was
basically
about to
Dean
say,
Keaton
is it
like
after it
T-bones.
closes? I'm down.
Yeah.
I'll drink a tea. I'll drink a tea.
Is
if
it
y'all
still that
want.
like Korean wing shop or whatever, or is it something else now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I
Left
know
wing?
2 weeks
Or
in line after it
The
closed.
Korean wing place?
Okay.
Yeah. Is that still there?
Yeah, it is still.
Like, dude, it's amazing how much stuff changes.
Yeah.
I thought he was about to be like, no, it's been like 4 different things since then.
Tommy, you got something?
Half the
I've
things
only
only
been
been
here since 2019.
Okay.
And then like all the shops on the drag have changed. Or
Yeah.
not all, but most of them.
They had like stopped there one time randomly and they had like 50-cent beers.
passing that around?
It was like,
I was about to say, how do they survive? That's how they
Yeah.
survive.
I know.
Just so they don't have to.
But it does feel like if Fuzzies can't survive on Guad, what can?
Yeah.
It's such a good college spot.
Yeah, classic. Like margaritas were pretty cheap.
Yep. Yep.
Still can't believe they're demolishing Canada.
Oh my gosh.
Adam, how did you do that last? Did you handle that last week?
I did this.
It's a travesty.
It is. It's not moving.
How's it not working? Does it work when you do that?
No.
Of course it doesn't.
Off script.
Yeah. I know, right?
Oh, or did I hit the space? No, because the space just plays it.
Wait, no, hold up. This? No.
How did I do this last week? Did I hit play and close it? How did I do it last week?
Supportstudentvoices.org.
Please.
Help pay for a new teleprompter.
Hey, Tommy, is the on switch on your mic?
Yes. Can you hear me okay? Oh, okay, bye.
That would have been easy fix if they weren't getting that.
Yeah, no kidding.
That's even worse than have you tried turning it off and turning it back on again. Have you tried turning it off?
Yeah.
You'd be surprised how many times I actually do that though. I'm like, there's no audio. Oh, because I didn't plug it in.
Y'all out at the Dell match play much this year?
No, because we were on the road with basketball, UT basketball the entire time. What little's left of that team?
Yeah.
It's really just Brock now, right? Brock
Well,
and Anamike?
Hunter
Rock
hasn't
and
said it.
Point, yeah.
Should be
You okay
Hunter.
with the election
Hopefully
voting?
DeSue.
Hunter,
Yeah.
Hunter will be back.
Yeah,
But
Hunter will
Dylan
be back.
Mitchell declared
Tommy's
today.
He did.
He is
And
a
he'll
I'll try.
He
should
gone.
have this off straight.
His message didn't look like he was coming back even if he retained college eligibility.
He can't come back because he could potentially just ruin his whole stock.
Yeah.
Like, it was pretty similar to Greg Brown. Like, Greg Brown,
He never
came and
amounted
just-
to anything, did he?
Man,
he like just got waived by the Blazers a couple months ago, and then he's playing G League for
Yeah.
somebody else now, I think.
yeah.
I forgot about
Maybe
him,
the Clippers
honestly.
picked him up, or somebody picked him up.
Yeah, he had a rookie deal. Yeah,
The problem is
'cause
there's just so many guys like that. Like with at least with Tyrese, like
All right. Tommy, can you just do one last mic test?
All right, test 1 2. Test 1 2. Alumni show. We're ready to go. That's all the bars I got. Good.
Tyrese is kind of there's just like dime a dozen. There's so many athletic 6'2" combo guards.
AJ Johnson.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, 'cause
So
it's like
y'all will
objectively.
pass that one to Tommy.
You want to start with it down there?
I'll start with
You
Jack.
know, but
But he'll be like the guy.
Yeah.
You know, if he comes back.
if Arterio had stayed, I mean, I get it.
That was
he's
never
kind of always had his
His body language is
stuff.
really bad.
Horrible,
Yeah,
and
Australia.
he didn't like Rocky Terry.
Yeah.
A year from now,
But I don't know if
they'll have
he
all
liked
new nice
anything.
things.
Like I feel like every time
And you get to come
His-
back.
Football is back on the 40 acres with the spring game coming up this weekend. Texas softball is rolling again after a tough stretch against Oklahoma. And where does Bijan Robinson fall in the NFL draft? All this and more coming up on the Alumni edition of College Crossfire.
Coming back to that 2021 MVP. He's better than Josh Allen. He's better than Baker Mayfield. He's not better than Mahomes. I can't say that.
What you miss a kick, you get kicked. So,
You know, a bag of money or whatever, some food inside of them. No, that is a great answer. How dare you boo this man?
Good evening and welcome into College Crossfire, the best collegiate sports debate show on the planet. I'm your host, Tommy Yarrish. We've got a very special show lined up for you here tonight. But before we start, a reminder that this show is part of our 24/7 week here at TSTV, where the station is live 24 hours a day for the next 7 days. And with that in mind, please consider supporting this right here, Student Voices. head to supportstudentvoices.org and make a donation if you are so inclined. Now, let's go ahead and meet our contestants. On first base, he's making his first return since I'm sorry. He's heading us, for whatever reason, our script was wrong. He's joining us in between newscasts from CBS Austin. Please welcome TSTV's finest, Jeff Barker. Jeff, how's it going, man?
Good, Tommy. Thank y'all for having me.
Really appreciate you coming by in between newscasts. We know you got to get you out of here pretty soon for the 10 o'clock, so we'll speed this up. And over on second base, he's the original creator of the 1-0 Sports Show. Now we welcome back Thomas Fitch. Thomas, how's it going, man?
What if I just don't give him the mic?
Then I can't talk.
Then there is no Thomas Fitch.
Yeah, glad to be back on the show. I think I was on last year. I can't remember who won, but for the sake of the argument, I think we're going to say I won, and I'm looking to go back to back. 1-0. We went 1-0. We're looking to go 1-0 again this week.
Looking to go 2-0. Maybe we'll call it the 2-0 Sports.
2-0, yeah, name change.
Week. And last but certainly not least, on third base, coming all the way from West Texas, Odessa, today, just for the show, it's John Kelley. John, thanks for making the drive. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm really good. I mean, it's been a year, but it feels like I was just here yesterday.
It does feel like you were just here yesterday. We've missed the three of you. Super happy that you're joining us here tonight. Let's go ahead and get this show on the road. As we mentioned earlier, Texas football plays in their annual orange-white spring game on Saturday afternoon, and a lot of eyes nationwide will be set on DKR to get a glimpse of the Longhorns. Fellas, when you watch the game this weekend, who do you think needs to have a big game, spring game that is, for Texas? Jeff, we'll start with you.
So I think first things first, you just want to get out of there, no injuries. That's like the biggest thing with any spring game is just no nonsense injuries. But I think the running backs. I'm curious to see Jonathan Brooks, maybe a little Keelan Robinson, Cedric Baxter, the true freshman, Jaden Blue. Curious to see what those guys do and how they can kind of show up and show out. But like I said, just no injuries, maybe a couple Quinn bombs, maybe get Arch in there, get him comfortable. Would love to see him throw a couple of bombs, but
I'm sure the thousands of Texas faithful that will be flocking to DKR would go insane to see Arch throw. Even a screen pass, that stadium would light up.
Yeah, that would make the highlight. That would make the highlight on CBS.
He could throw a pass to me, and that would get 1 million views. Thomas, go ahead and continue us on.
Well, since you didn't take this, I'll go with the obvious answer, or what the fans are at least wanting to see is Quinn Ewers. I think we were talking about this before. The spring game, you're really not seeing a lot of what is going to tell for the fall. They're not revealing the plays. You're seeing the first against the second string, and so it's not a very accurate picture or portrayal of what the fall is going to be like. But what the fans are looking for is how is Ewers going to have progressed in the offseason, especially is the accuracy going to be better? He kind of struggled at points, and if some of the accuracy, especially on some of the deep ball, if that can be there, maybe some Texas fans can get some excitement heading into the fall.
Absolutely, and the mechanics of Quinn Ewers as well. Definitely something to keep an eye on. Remember, we talked about it a lot on this show. His footwork is something that he was able to get away with in high school just because he had a cannon of an arm. We'll see if Steve Sarkisian and A.J. Milwee have tweaked that a little bit heading into this season. John, close us out.
Well, I mean, obviously quarterback and running back, both things that we want to see going forward because with Arch coming on campus, hopefully getting to see him throw a couple passes, and now that Bijan Robinson no longer on Texas, he's going away. But I just want to see with the defense as a whole. Obviously it's the orange and white game. It's not full-on hard, but I was a bit curious at the end of last season on their performance, and going into the spring game, I want to see if any improvements have been made.
Absolutely, and Pete Kwiatkowski's group took a massive jump in year 2 under his reign. We'll see if they can continue that going with some key people leaving for the draft. Jeff, you're going to get the 3 here on this one. John, you'll get the 2, and Thomas, you get off to a hot start. hey, we still have a lot of, we still have a long. That's a very valid question. I think that really is what's going to be the question for this offense. You and several key members of the Texas staff as well. A long ways to go, Thomas. You're far from out of this. Our second question now. Texas softball is currently the number 8 team in the country after dropping 3 games to number 1 Oklahoma and bouncing back with a series sweep over Iowa State. So far this season, what stands out to you about Mike White's team? Thomas, start us off.
Well, what stands out to me, this is actually going to be interesting because it's maybe not as positive, maybe more on the negative side, but here's a stat for you. Texas 4-6 against ranked opponents. Now, 3 of those were against Oklahoma, who's, as we were talking about before this, kind of in a tier to themselves. But when it comes time for the tournament, for the College World Series, you're going to have to beat ranked teams. And this has been a softball team that's been good under Mike White, but the next step is winning it all. And if you want to win it all, you have to beat the best teams. And that means at least taking 1 game from Oklahoma. So the question for me going forward in the season is with the Oklahoma State series, with the Baylor series, can they get out of there with wins and finish over 500 against ranked teams?
Absolutely. And, Oklahoma's teams as under Patty Gasso really, I think, rivaling the 90s Bulls kind of esque runs, just so dominant, and it's like it's impossible to beat them unless you're the Baylor Bears out of nowhere this year. So a great way to start us off. John, continue us on.
I'm gonna have to say Mike White himself continuing to surprise me, being able to field competitive Texas softball teams, especially in the wake of a Big 12 where it's just so hard to be competitive with Oklahoma at the front. Continuing to be able to keep Texas relevant in the Big 12. It's just been so exciting to watch, and I'm hoping that it'll continue this run further down.
Absolutely, and you mentioned the competitiveness of the Big 12, showing last year Texas and Oklahoma in the national championship. Wasn't even close, but nonetheless, Mike White was able to get Texas there. Obviously, when you have a player like Jocelyn Alla, who might be the best softball player of all time, that's kind of hard to defeat. Jeff, go ahead and end us out.
Yeah, at least Texas was there last year. I mean, that was like the moral of that one. They didn't even host a regional.
They made it.
We were there.
Second to Oklahoma.
Right. No, but I think going off what these two guys said, those are great answers. It's just finding a way to get this team over the hump because they're there. They played for a national championship last year. I know, all jokes aside on it not being that competitive, they got there. They surprised people, didn't even host the regional, got out of Seattle, beat Washington, and then surprised people all the way there. And I mean, Oklahoma's just an absolute juggernaut. They're one of those teams that, this run is going to go down as one of the greatest runs in college sports history, what they're doing. And you mentioned Jocelyn Allo and some of the other great players they've had. But I think just Mike White trying to figure out, and it probably keeps him up at night, just what is the last thing that we need? And I'm not smart enough to figure that out. I know Coach is, and the rest of his coaches are. So whatever it is, they'll find a way to get that one thing, get over the hump, and at least kind of get on that level where they can close the door against OU, because we saw it. They almost won 2 of those games in Norman, but almost doesn't get it done.
Not at all. We'll see if Mike White can find those missing puzzle pieces to finish this Texas softball puzzle that is so close to being complete. Great answers once again across the board. Thomas, you get the 3. See, you bounce back. Jeff gets the 2, and John gets the 1. Last question here of our first block. The NFL draft is just a few weeks away, and former Texas running back Bijan Robinson has been flying all over mock drafts and draft boards. As trades and free agency have progressed, what team do you think takes Bijan in the draft? This one will start with John.
I'm going to say the Texans, coming in with that number 2 spot. Look, I know never draft a running back in the first round, especially not the second pick. However, with football, yeah, you need a quarterback. But if you have an ineffective quarterback, you can just pass off the ball, and he could do all the work. And Bijan Robinson, as we've seen, is an explosive character. Absolutely incredible. And therefore, he could just be the center of the new Houston Texans.
Well-known Houston Texans fan Adam Ogburn is cringing off the air here. We're gonna run the wing T in the NFL. How does that sound? Just put Bijan Robinson in the middle and let him work.
Adam off camera was saying run the Wildcat, but Bijan actually said he's like, the one thing I can't do is throw, because obviously Roshan, his running mate in the backfield. I mean, we would joke with Bijan, like, what is there anything that you can't do? And he's like, well, Roshan played quarterback. He can throw. I guess that's the only thing that, like, I'm not good at is throwing it. But
Nature's Grove.
Yeah, I'm sure Bijan could figure it out. But I think a lot of people, and maybe Thomas will say this, want him to go to the Cowboys. They want to see that. No idea if he'll be there. No? Is that
Actually,
I'm putting it. You should dock points for that.
Yeah.
For me, sorry. No, but I was actually going to go opposite of that, stay in the NFC East. I think the Eagles make a lot of sense, because they're one of those teams where they could pick him a little bit earlier, and because of there not being too many holes or too many other needs on that team, that Bijan could be a nice fit in there. Miles Sanders already on his way out. They're not re-signing him, so why don't you go get you a featured back? And, getting Bijan at that price of whatever the 10th overall pick cost is steep, but not too crazy in the grand scheme for what you're getting of great player, great character guy, and I'm going to steal what John said earlier about explosive character. I like that. I like that.
Descriptor right there. NFL GMs, take that down.
Yep.
But really, the Eagles' offense does seem to be that one piece away. Remember, last year they were rotating through 3 running backs in the Super Bowl, couldn't really establish the run game. That was part of the reason why I think they lost that Super Bowl to Kansas City. You throw Bijan Robinson in there, I think that's far and away the best offense in the NFL, without a question, before Bijan even steps on the field.
Who do you
for the
focus
first time.
on?
Exactly. So many different things to keep in mind. You got Jalen Hurts, Bijan Robinson, Devontae Smith, A.J. Brown. That's just impossible to figure out. Thomas, go ahead and close us out.
So I think it could be one of 2 teams. The
Cowboys or
first of
Cowboys?
which, yeah. Well, so here's my inside scoop, okay? And it's not that inside, but Bijan was seen practicing with Micah Parsons in Austin, and I know that A, because I saw it on Bleacher Report, but B, because I almost hit Micah Parsons with my car on Monday. I was driving, and he's like walking his dog, taking his time, and I was like about to honk at him, and then like I drive past and figure out it's Micah Parsons. So he is in Austin working out with Bijan. So if there's any like rumors about the fact that the Cowboys are certainly interested in Bijan, that's true. The other team that I could see it happening, or I could see picking him, the Bills are looking to trade up in the draft to go after skill positions. They could use another running back. I think Bijan could be the guy, so I'm going to say either Cowboys or the Bills.
Yeah, certainly the Bills are one of those other teams where it just feels like that offense is one piece away from being able to get over that championship hump and really get them into the Super Bowl and be able to win it all. So definitely something to keep an eye on here in the coming weeks as we approach draft night. Jeff, you're going to get the 3 here. Thomas, you get the 2. And John, you get the 1. I just don't see Bijan going to the Texans.
My Woj bomb didn't get 3 points. I saw Micah Parsons this week in town.
You didn't run him over.
And I didn't run him over.
He probably would have survived. No,
Right. Yeah, my car would have been hurt.
He would have pushed your car away.
Even his dog probably would
That's right, that's right.
tear your car apart. But yes, your Wojbomb, unfortunately, 1 point away, but nonetheless still in the mix here. Now I have to, the worst part of the show where I have to do quick math. This is why I'm a journalism major. All right, we're 3 questions into this one, and it's a close one, but out in front early is Jeff with 8 points. Right behind him with 6 is Thomas, and last but certainly not least with 4 is John. We have a long way to go. Next set of questions coming up on College Crossfire. Welcome back into College Crossfire. A quick score update if you're just joining us. Jeff Barker leads the way with 8 points. Right behind him, Thomas Fitch with 6. And last but certainly not least, John Kelley with 4. Let's go ahead and kick off our second block now with this. The NBA playoffs are off to a roaring start already as the first play-in game was a blowout, and then the second game was one of the worst basketball games I think I've ever witnessed, which of course led to a Lakers win. As we head closer to the actual playoffs, give us your way too early finalist predictions. Who are the 2 teams that we'll see there at the end of the day? Jeff?
So I'm a Lakers fan, and that that game last night, man.
Miserable.
I mean, I'm like, just inbound the ball. Like, literally just throw the ball to somebody wearing the same jersey as you. Like, come on. So I wanted to sit up here and say the Lakers, and I still think they have a chance. That's going to be like my crazy finals prediction is LeBron and AD and all these new guys they brought in somehow figure it out. But otherwise, like, I have no idea in the West. I mean, could be the Suns, could be the Clippers. Like, that first-round series, somebody's going to be really – like, somebody's going to catch a lot of heat for not winning that series, whether it's the Clippers with Kawhi and Paul George or the Suns and their whole, assortment of a super team there. But I'm going to go crazy, and I'm going to say the Lakers. Wishful thinking here. I'm going to say the Lakers get swept. Actually, the Lakers lose in 3 to the Bucks in the finals because they just give up after, like, the third game. They're like, yeah, Giannis is dropping 60 on them. But the West is so wide open. So, yeah, that was a horrible answer. I hope you give me negative points.
Okay,
for that.
so
It didn't even answer the East Conference.
I think he says Lakers Bucks, and then Bucks win it in 3.
I didn't even hear Bucks. Are we making up words here?
It was just like an emotional roller coaster of like my Laker fandom.
To be fair, that roller coaster was a good example of the Los Angeles offense last night. And I love how you pointed out the inbound passing. I tweeted out last night that NBA teams need to hire me. I can coach a team to inbound the ball. Justin Gooseman had a great point where he said, just run stack. It's a middle school concept, but it works. He said, both 2 guys each way, somebody's going to be open. So it's not that hard, NBA teams. Let's get it together. Thomas?
Okay, so Jeff, you're right. The West is, I mean, it's crazy. Who
right,
could come
the
out?
Lakers are going?
No, not about the Lakers. Absolutely not. But I mean, especially with the KD trade to the Suns, I mean, just blowing up the West of so many possibilities. I think that, I mean, this is a very popular upset pick. But the Warriors, I mean, no one wants to play the Warriors. I think that's an easy win for them over Sacramento. They've struggled away from home, but Sacramento, not too much of a road game. And then against a Grizzlies team that, yes, very talented, but still young, still needing some playoff experience. I think the Warriors make it to the Western Conference Finals against the Nuggets. And as much as I want to pick the Warriors, I think Nuggets. I think actually I'm going to go chalk and go Nuggets Bucks. And let's say the Nuggets win. There's just, I know they've kind of fallen off of late, but there's just so much talent top to bottom. I don't know how you stop that team.
Absolutely. Nikola Jokic especially just basically impossible to stop at this point. I think NBA teams have given up. Just an incredible big man who is on his way potentially to winning back-to-back MVPs. We'll see if he holds on to that title here later in the season. John?
You know, I have to agree with what y'all said. The Western Conference is just up for grabs. However, you know, I think the Suns are going to, you know, get to that Western Conference final and take it. As for the East, you know, I'm Irish. So I got to say the Boston Celtics. And I think the Celtics take it in 7.
That's as good of an analysis as I'll ever see on this show. So for that, John, you're going to get the 3 points here. Just because he's Irish, Jason Tatum, book it, NBA Finals. Thomas, you'll get the 2 here, and Jeff, you get the 1. Moving on to our...
I'm going to come back with the Lakers.
We'll tweet out about that at this specific clip. Make sure you tag all of us in it. The MLB is fresh out of the gates with the Tampa Bay Rays just smoking everyone to start off the season 11-0. Not sure if they won their game today or not. But out of the games that you have watched and what you've heard around the league here to start off the year, who is the team to beat in baseball? Thomas, go ahead and start us off.
Well, I got to go with my Braves. Of course, I always pick the Braves when I'm on the show. But the Braves actually really solid lineup top to bottom. Some good pitching. You got Acuna healthy. Sean Murphy already with a walk-off home run in the season. Matt Olson's looking good at first base. So overall, you have a really complete team from the Braves. I think maybe the only worry is you've lost some of the veteran leadership. You lost Dansby. Freddie's gone from 2 years ago. So it's a much younger team. But, I mean, you just look at the young guys, the young pitchers that they're bringing up from the minors. This team is stacked.
Yeah, and especially getting Ronald Acuna back healthy. That's so huge for that offense, who without him last year could be stagnant at times. John, carry us on.
You know, I think the obvious answer here for right now is the Tampa Bay Rays. 12-0. They did win. Sorry. Cheers from other studios.
They love that.
They love the Rays pick.
We got some Rays fans.
But, you know, I'll drink the Kool-Aid. The Rangers are looking great so far. 8-5 because we lost today, unfortunately. Of course, Kansas City. But we got a lot of young talent that have been looking good. Jonah Heim, obviously Nate Lowe, a couple offseason picks with Marcus Semien. And pitching rotations looking better. Still not great. If only we could bring Nolan Ryan back from retirement.
I think he's a little old.
I don't know. He could probably still throw a heater. Get that 8th perfect game. Or perfect game? No. I don't remember.
Your guess is
Whichever.
as good as mine.
But aside from the Rangers Kool-Aid, I have to say, real answer, probably the Twinkies, the Minnesota Twins. They've been looking hot. They got a lot of old Rangers talent coming into there. But they've been doing good. Trust me. They've been doing good.
The Texas Rangers B team is rolling in Minneapolis on the other side of the country.
What can I say? I love the Rangers. What can I
If you
say?
don't do good in Texas, you get shipped to the north. Have fun freezing.
Hey, didn't work out for Ian Kinsler, but it worked out for Joey Gallo.
There you go.
He's hitting bombers now. So,
So which team was that?
I think the moral of the story is the American League's winning the World Series.
Okay. That's-
Whatever the question was, the American League. Screw the Braves. Nobody cares. American League's winning it.
So John's answer is the entire American League is the team to watch.
I don't even know how I could possibly follow that up. I mean,
That's gonna be
I wanted
tough
to
to
give
follow
like a real informed, measured
Give us
answer and
15
take here.
teams.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just gonna show my bias again and just say the Dodgers.
I mean, we all
well,
went
these
by-
guys
we
said
all
the
went by-
Braves, and and I'm like, it's not like, okay, I guess they did beat the Dodgers at one point, whatever. But I don't know. I as a Dodger fan, I'm just kind of tired of hearing about the Padres and all these other teams. Like the Dodgers and the Astros have been the two most consistent teams I think over the last 5 to 6 years. So a couple other teams in the mix there. Braves are dangerous. So yeah, I'm gonna say the Dodgers. We'll leave it at that. And I am gonna say though, John's answer was great, but the old Rangers of the last few years, like I don't know if that's the talent pipeline you want.
I was going to say, this is about the best they've looked in a decade, so I'm not sure if you want to go back in time. But I guess Minnesota will have to find that out the hard way, according to John Kelley. We're through 2 sets of questions here, and at the top of the leaderboard, we've got a tie for first place now between Jeff and Thomas with 11 points, and in second place now with 8 is John. So with that, we go and head into our final block, as all of this can change in an instant. The rapid fire round is coming up next on College Crossfire. It's time for the last 3 questions of the night for us here on College Crossfire, and you know what that means. It's the rapid fire round, where the points are double, so it's anyone's game. If you're new to the show, rapid fire is our third and final segment, where our contestants will have to answer 3 questions, just like they have the rest of the night. However, this time they have no idea what I'll be asking. So everything is off the dome. They say defense wins championships. That's a lie. Rapid fire wins championships. Let's go ahead and find out who tonight's champion will be. Here we go. In the spirit of the Alumni Show, we'll be asking some reflective questions for each of our graduates here. To start us off, if you could change one thing about your time at TSTV, what would you do? Anybody can start us off.
That's easy.
No hesitation. Oh boy.
Well, I mean,
Buckle up.
I think, well, obviously the big one is COVID, because I kind of had that in the middle of my time. You know, my entire junior year was on StreamYard. Old. Yeah, no one remembers that anymore. Already, it feels like. Thank you, Adam.
Fantastic software.
But I think for all those prospective volunteers out there, I think the biggest thing I would change was starting earlier. I didn't join the TSTV until my sophomore year, which was a big L, honestly, because I had so much fun at TSTV, and it shaped who I am. And my freshman year really sucked, and it would have been better with TSTV.
That's going. That's going in the recruitment video, 100%.
I would have studied less and spent more time at TSTV.
Now that's how you do it.
Yeah.
kids. Yeah. Studying. Who does that? Come participate in some shows.
Gosh, y'all had like really good answers, and I was really hoping you're going to talk longer. I mean, I guess we were talking about this before on the show. I was wishing that for 1-0 we had like 1-0 coffee mugs so I could drink coffee on set. That's so boring. But
I thought you were just gonna cry. Like you're just gonna cry about how much TSTV meant to you.
it meant so much, and you should give money to TSTV. Support Student Voices right there. If that doesn't give me points, I don't know what does. Right here, give us money. We're literally passing the mic around, okay? If I could do more, I would do more fundraising.
What else on this thing?
See, so the last couple of weeks I've been going on rants to start off our show about how underfunded it is. Now you, the viewers, have the opportunity to fix that. Just head to this website right here. It's very easy. Just throw some money at us. We'll make it work. So great answers across the board. We're not going to be revealing who gets the points in this one, so we'll keep it shut down for this last round. Nobody knows who's going to win this, just because we don't know if any of you are math whizzes and you're keeping score of everybody in your head. I know I'm not, but either one of you could be.
Designed to be dumb.
That's bonus points right there. That's bonus
We
points.
need to hang that on the wall and frame it somewhere around the studio.
Had a chance.
Suddenly, John has 8 million points. All right, folks, for our second question, we're just going to keep with this theme here. Let's say you're tasked with creating a new show at TSTV. Thomas, you're a little out of place for this one. Well, you're going to make it third now. What would you call it, and what would it be composed of? John, starting us off again.
Mind up, sorry.
hesitation.
It's because I'm the newest alumni, so I still have the ideas fresh in the mind. Something I always wanted to do was a collaboration kind of with VDHL and Longhorn Gaming to focus more on the competitive esports here at UT because, you know, they're unlike other schools. They're not affiliated specifically with the university, like in the athletics program. There are other schools that they are. And so providing more of a platform for that on TSTV, as well as providing opportunities for casters to kind of get a different experience, because it's kind of like TSTV Game Day, but casting esports can be completely different because things happen a lot more quickly, and it's a completely different ball game. So I always kind of wanted to do that. What it would be called? Well, we had a TSTV Game Day.
There you go. TSTV.
Like what we did during COVID.
I definitely enjoy that. I would love to have done some Madden tournaments. That would be
fun.
That would be fun within the sports department, right? I would enjoy that.
Game Day. All right, I got two ideas. One isn't as much a show, but kind of a la This Is Sports Center. Those commercials, having like a This Is Press Box commercials, you know, kind of walking around the studio, around campus, I think would be really fun. Second idea would be called kind of like Ted Lasso's Biscuits with the Boss. We do biscuits with Bevo, but instead of British biscuits, it would be a honey butter chicken biscuit from Whataburger, and you can interview coaches and players, maybe even like out on the ranch where Bevo is. So good luck topping those.
Dude, I was like, seriously, these are like well thought out, and that's kind of what I was gonna say, is like a one-on-one, like long form interview type show, maybe, you know, where we get interviews that, you know, other local TV stations don't get, you know, because we just like guilt trip them because we're students, basically. You know, like, isn't the college sport supposed to be about the students? Like, you know, That's your sell. That's your guilt trip there, basically.
Yeah.
So.
I don't know if that flies
I
with
think
SIDs.
I think he's right. I think he's right. No, probably not. Definitely not. I think he's writing down all the points that I'm getting. So I'll just,
Everybody is.
Preparing the sniper rifle. Right?
I'm
Everybody.
gonna hear about that tomorrow if they're watching.
Yeah, the SIDs might be preparing their sniper rifles too if we presented them that idea. So, but nonetheless, I think that's definitely a good idea. Would love to be able to do that. Just obviously, working with athletics at time, troubling at times. But hey. SIDs, if you're watching, we would love to work with you. Please hit us up if you'd be so kind. And last but certainly not least, if you could go back and be present at any game that was played during your time here at Texas, which game would you go back and see?
That's
Sorry, that's not
I
me,
was
Doug.
easy because it was rough for myself and Clark Dalton having to go. I know rough having to cover the Red River game, but having to cover that difficult loss last year, 2022. To make up for that, I'd really love to go back to 2018, my freshman year, back when Texas football was good during my college career, and watch that Red River game where we beat the hell out of OU.
All right, so what I believe will be a common answer here with going back to Red River, Jeff.
Well, I'm gonna completely pass because they were so bad while I was here. I'm just gonna say, I'm just gonna say, okay, yeah, all right, okay,
Absolutely.
okay, like Omaha. They went to Omaha when I was there. That would have been fun. Didn't win, but
made it.
I'm not bitter about any of it, about the lack of athletic success while I was here. I don't know, maybe a couple swimming and diving national titles. I
That
don't
would
know.
be cool to watch.
Yeah, I feel like I just totally lost this. I had a nice lead going, and then I just didn't answer any of the questions, and now I'm gonna lose.
Swimming and diving, they've won countless national
A lot.
championships. I know there's a bunch hanging up in the
I
in the Hall
always
of Fame.
joked. Sorry. I always joked
No answer from Thomas.
on Twitter. On Twitter, they'd always be like, "Yeah, we're the best in the Big 12. This is like our 15th year winning the Big 12 swimming and diving championship. There are only 3 teams in the Big 12 that do swimming and diving. Like it's not a competition.
Did not know that either.
They're still really good. Nationally, they win, but they talk about the Big 12, and it's like there are like 3 or 4 teams that do swimming and diving in the Big 12.
That's funny. I didn't realize that. Still, Eddie Reese is the GOAT. So I'll go a little different than because the Dicker the Kicker game was when I was in college, and that was amazing. Also the Sugar Bowl. But I would actually say this is a little weird, but Texas's NIT championship at the Garden, because they don't play it at the Garden anymore. They play the NIT championship in Vegas. So to get to see, which is such a shame. So to get to see the NIT championship at the Garden would be really fun.
All right, so three very different answers there across the board, but wonderful answers in this block as well as usual. Great way to close out the show, but as you all know, there can only be one victor. So today's College Crossfire Alumni Edition champion is, drumroll please, the man with the matching suit, Jeff Barker. In a 1-point victory, wins it all after 2 astonishing.
Tell you something there.
After 2 astonishing. Hold on.
That's a PR lesson for you
Do we
guys.
have time for FaceTime for Jeff? Yes, we do. Jeff, take it away.
That's a PR lesson for you fellas there. I just didn't really say anything the entire time and just kind of kept myself in the game, and then
Media trained Jeff Barker.
Yeah,
wins
yeah.
it all.
No, but I'll go back to this. Hey, whoever designed this is outstanding. I don't know who
Very
you
well
are,
done.
but this is some of your best work. Is that who?
No.
Oh! I thought you were pointing at him. I was like, yeah.
You know what? Yes,
But yeah,
it
hey,
was
seriously,
Thomas.
loved my time at TSTV. Support studentvoices.org. I know what it did for me, my career, just my college time here, and had a blast. So yeah, just keep supporting, and thanks for having me, y'all. Anything y'all need, let me know.
Awesome. Well, we appreciate all 3 of you coming back. Always a pleasure to have some of the TSTV legends back here with us in the studio. Congratulations to our winner, Jeff. What is that an appropriate TSTV legends?
He just handed me the mic, and I didn't want to hold it, so I was just passing it on to Sean.
I'll take it.
Congratulations to our winner, Jeff Barker, and a huge thanks to Thomas Fitch and John Kelley for coming out and joining us. Always great to have you guys back here in the studio. That's going to do it for us here in TSTV Studios. shows. Before you go, be sure to remember to come back Friday mornings for Thomas Fitch's 1-0 Sports Show. Now hosted by Adam Ogburn, and Monday night's college press box. We'll be back next week. Don't worry. And thank you so much to our live studio audience of Adam Ogburn for coming out and being great as usual tonight. For our contestants, everyone in master control, our phenomenal executive producer Jordan Galehood, and all the other great folks here at TSTV. My name is Tommy Yarrish saying goodbye, and we'll see you next time.